with. You see what I'm saying? Anything else but outside of that has nothing to do with what's going on between me and you. I do want to talk to you, and I want to express to you everything that I felt as a child that I still feel inside of me, but I am going to forgive you for it because it's not about what's happening to me. It's about how I respond.
Well, let's talk about some of those things until you get here. What are some of the things you feel from childhood?
I just feel neglected.
Why? What happened?
I just felt that the way that he was portraying to the world, just like he's doing right now, like he loves me and he cares about me, I felt that he did that to me. I felt that, you know, it was point in times in our relationship because I was like technically the eldest of the children, and he always told me like you're my ace, and made me feel like really good about myself. Like he, you know, played the semantic of like I love you, and you know, so to speak, bribing. Like I always felt like he was bribing me into something, because when, you know, I would ask him for something that I needed, it wasn't available. And it wasn't like I wanted it or anything. Like I actually needed it, and he was never available for that. And I just thought that as a child that, you know, when he did give me something like materialistic, it was more on a bribing tip to turn my mind or manipulate my mind, persuade me to go against my Babylon mind, because that's what my whole childhood revolved around, was the fact that him and her were fighting for custody over us, and he didn't want me to be with her, and she just wanted the situation to be okay where both of them had equal rights amongst the children, and it was always that type of situation. And you know, as an adolescent as well, I had experienced just a lot of my Babylon mom had gave him money. She would give him a good amount of money, like a big chunk of money every month, and he totally, I don't even know what he did with it, but that was to help us, and we wound up didn't have an efficient living arrangement. You know what I'm saying? And that was a big problem for me because it's a lot of children, and you know how hectic it could get with just 3 people in the household or 4 people in the household. And so it was a lot of things being done that I had to take responsibility of, that I felt like I shouldn't have had to take responsibility of, that I felt that he should have been more there as a parent for the collective of the children. And I started feeling like a maid. I started feeling like their mom. Like I started feeling like that as a child. And that caused me to grow up at a very young age. I started, you know, just wanting to get into what adults would want to get into, because I never had a chance to be a child. I never had a chance to just be a teenager and just live in that space. You know, I had to get up every morning and do their hair, do the kids' hair, and make sure they get to school, simultaneously doing the same thing for myself. So I was a young adult at a very early age because of the divorce thing, and also traumas from the women that was coming into his life. You know, he always like, I never, like, his relationship with my Babylon mom and the relationships that he had with the women after my Babylon mom irritated me a lot, because of the fact that I know the situation that was between my Babylon mom and my Babylon dad. My Babylon mom was a very good woman in Babylon. You know, she made sure that we was always fed. Our hair was, we was very well taken care of by our Babylon mom, and he always just seemed like he wasn't appreciative of what she had to offer as a woman in Babylon. And that's just how it seemed to me at some certain points in time with my relationship, being in a relationship with both of my parents. I just felt like he neglected her on some levels. Maybe he had a certain disposition with her that he didn't like certain ways about her or something like that, but it was enough to make him lie to her and cheat on her and treat her a certain type of way that was very degrading from what I've seen from my experience. And this caused a lot of fights, a lot of arguments, and sometimes as I got older after the divorce, I started to become a part of these arguments, in the midst of these arguments, and it was just not healthy for them or for the collective of the family. And so I always felt like a mediator. I always felt like I was trying to mend the situation, but he always had this animosity towards my Babylon mom for what reason, I don't know. So with the other women, I just felt that he always were like putting them on a pedestal. He was always like making their relationship unrealistic from what I had seen with him and her. And he would like just, you know, take them out to eat all the time, and he would leave the children at the house. He would leave us at the house, and it was a certain diet that we were eating, and this frustrated me. It may seem petty, but we had a certain diet that was not very conducive for a child. You know what I'm saying? You have to nourish a child a certain way, like just a human, period. Our bodies aren't made for certain foods. It's just not over an extended amount of time. We know this. And so, you know, as a child, I just felt neglected in that area as far as the household and, you know, us just being nurtured right. Like, I just felt like there was no nurturing aspect there. And when the women did come along that he was with, he didn't make them or make it important for them to nurture us away. Like, it was just like, okay, I got another wife and that's it. And I never understood why that played out the way it played. So this made me actually start having arguments with the woman that he was with, because, you know, she wanted to do just like crazy stuff that we never communicated about. And I'm like, you can't come in here changing. Like, it was just a whole bunch of stuff when it came to the women aspect, you know, and I never, it's just a whole bunch of stuff.
Keep going.
Like, for instance, another time where I felt neglected was when, and this is just all Babylon stuff. This is Babylon and how, you know, how we be raised in Babylon, and, you know, how we're getting taken care of there. And so, he always made it seem like he didn't have enough money. He always made it seem like that. But on the other hand, from his actions, like when he always took out to eat and do other stuff, it's like his money just vanished out of nowhere. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's this weird exchange of energy that he does, to the point where his energy is not compensated, or it's not being shown out as an equal exchange when he comes back home, because it's just weird. Like, you know, those people who get money and get a lot of money, and then they go do some fuck shit with it, and then they come back to the person like, well, I did this with it, but there's nothing there to show what they did with it. That's what it was always like with my Babylon dad. And I still to this day, I don't know if he's the same way, but this is what I've experienced in that moment of time. And because of that aspect, because he acted like that, or he did whatever he did with his energy, he did not ration it out well enough to nurture the children the right way, to raise them the right way, to have a efficient household for them the right way. And I had a problem with this, so I started calling CPS, because I did not like the way that I was living. My clothes was basically in black trash bags, and because he didn't want us to take, he didn't want to, or I'm not gonna say he didn't want to take us, because I don't know the situation, I don't know what he was going through. I just kind of assumed that maybe he didn't want to do it, but that was the energy that he was giving me. But I still don't know that for a fact, so I'm not going to say that he didn't want to. I'm going to just say that I didn't understand the situation that he was in, so he couldn't take us to wash our clothes, and most of my clothes mildewed through this process. And you know, he would try to like, he forced us to go to church. I did not like to go to church, but he would be like, let's go to church, and then like, this is just an aspect. But it was many days throughout the week that I didn't have clothes, because they practically mildewed, and I didn't have anything else to put on, or it wasn't washed, or I had to wait for it to dry because I just had washed it in the bathtub because we didn't have washing. You know, so that happened. And one day I didn't have anything else to wear, and he's like, let's go to church. And I'm like, this is the only thing I gotta wear. And he just straight clicked out on me, because for I don't even know why, for that reason, he just clicked out on me. And you know, sometimes I did feel like he took his frustrations out of me, especially that one time when I was washing the dishes. Now, mind you, because I have to take care of my Babylon brothers and sisters and be their mom, I'm literally playing the feminine aspect role in the household. So I'm making sure the whole house is clean before everyone goes to bed. I'm making sure all the uniforms are washed.
And this is at what age?
This incident was at like maybe like 15, 16 Babylon years. Mm-hmm. This incident that I'm talking about. But me being a mom to my Babylon brothers and sisters had been going on since I was about 12 Babylon years, all the way up until I was 17, and then that's when I decided to run away. So when I was about 15, 16 Babylon years, I was washing the dishes. Mind you, I'm making sure that the whole house is clean. I had already made sure the house was clean. This is what I've been doing for years at a time. And because one night I didn't have dishes clean that one night, when I had the attitude to get up the next morning to make sure that it was clean because I was tired and I had so much other things on my plate, I decided not to wash a couple dishes, but I did have the attitude to get up to wash them the next day. And instead of him communicating with me, which I had always asked for from him, he just kind of just like clicked out on me and was like beating me with a belt, and like how I did yesterday, like upstairs when I just clicked out and I didn't ask questions and my anger just took over, and he did that to me. And my Babylon stepmom, she had to come in and tell him like stop, put herself over me from him hitting me with the belt, because this is how like he was just going ham, like he was just out there. And this turned into a situation where the CPS was involved with us, and I had to get taken pictures of, and it was crazy. And then after
taking pictures of it.
Yeah, it's called child advocacy. It's kind of like it is CPS, because he beat me like that. My Babylon sister wound up telling my Babylon mom, because she came to get us that weekend, but I didn't want to go. Yeah, it was all over my back. It was like lashes, like a slave. Like he took the belt. It was a leather belt, a leather braided belt. Took the buckle, put the buckle in the palm of his hand, wrapped it in around, and left the rest hanging like a whip, and was just like hitting me with the belt. Like I had to bend down on my hands and my knees. Yeah, I had to bend down on my hands and my knees to cover my face, because he was just going in. Like he wasn't even like cognitive of where he was hitting me. So I bent down to the ground and I was shielding myself. And my Babylon stepmom, she came in to put herself over me, because he was doing this. Like he was just going in. And I didn't want to go to my Babylon mom house, because she's very free. She's like basically not a nudist, but she could be. So we was very open with our bodies around each other as the feminine energy. So she would have seen the bruises, and I didn't want that to become a thing, because I knew that she would take it there. But it was something that was very severe. Like take it to the CPS and did everything that she did. So my Babylon sister wound up telling her. So she came back to the house to get me, and she took me to CPS child advocacy, and she told me that I had to tell them everything that was going on and how they're being, because my Babylon mom and dad had always had a fight ever since the divorce, since I was 11 Babylon years, to fight for custody between us. So anything that they could use against each other, they'll grab it and